Hello, everybody. Robert Rose here with the news. It is what's new, but more importantly, it's what's important in the news. That's right, it's the news you need to lead in content marketing. And by the way, for the best and best practices, you can always go to contentmarketinginstitute.com. All right, so there's one news item this week, and it's all about you. That is, you and your personal brand. There was an interesting Twitter argument that went on about half a week ago, and it was covered in Spiny Trends. The argument itself was with veteran New York Times reporter Maggie Haberman and the Washington Post internet culture reporter Taylor Lorenz. With the beef? Well, the beef, it was over an article on Business Insider, and it talked about how the New York Times is having problems with retention because of its prohibition on outside projects. In a word, they're bummed out that people are becoming personal brands. The argument it brought up was how much of a personal brand should journalists have as part of their job with a particular media company. As Lawrence from the Washington Post put out, the longer you stay at a job, well, it restricts you from outside opportunities, and the less relevant your personal brand becomes. Haberman from the New York Times then responded, that's nothing more than the desire of a few folks to get some attention. Our take? Yeah, it's pretty easy to say that when you're Maggie Haberman, less so when you're a bit unknown. Now, this debate brings up an interesting challenge and one that's been around for quite a while, especially for those of us that work within brands. How much should we be expressing our own personal brand and working on side projects such as newsletters or blogs or other media operations that may raise our public-facing visibility, and how much should we be subservient to the bigger brand? It's a great and ongoing question, and every brand will, and by the way, should have its own explicit point of view on just that, just like the New York Times has made their decision. It's yet another lesson that we can learn from media companies. And while our take is that the Times made the wrong decision, there's a distinct reason that some brands are very circumspect about who is celebrated as a personal brand of the company, and, more importantly, who is not. I mean, some brands don't have anybody there. But chances are your company hasn't made that very clear to anyone just yet. So it's all just a bit, fuzzy about what's allowed and what's not. So our take is that there are distinct push and pull advantages to having personal brands emerge in your business. Our responsibilities as brand stewards, the people who pay our weekly paycheck, to us as employees, we have a responsibility to not violate the trust that we've been charged with. As in Spider-Man, that power for us to emerge as a personality comes with great responsibility. And at some point, it may nova to the point where it no longer becomes tenable for us to work for that company any longer. That's the lesson from the Twitter fight with Haberman and Lawrence. We may not like the decision, and we can certainly debate it, but the most important thing is that one was made. And that's it. That's 3 minutes of news that you can need to lead in content marketing. I'm Robert Rose, and remember, it's your story to tell. Tell it well. I'll see you next week.